Boom, 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 everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you are having a great Saturday and an amazing weekend so far. My name is Don Terrell. I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say, hey, stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that in a couple of weeks, after 200 episodes, you know by now I am crazy about. You know the drill. Hop into the comments, say hey, where you tuned in from. As always, I want to thank you for giving me just a little bit of your time. As always on Saturday afternoon, I can't thank you enough for joining me, making this the best couple of hours every Saturday afternoon. Um, Again, my name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you. We are here each and every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on the YouTube channel, LinkedIn, the Facebook group, and the website for the show. You can check us out there. Definitely get plugged in. Uh, Let me get some of this housekeeping out of the way. Again, as I said, we are live on all those channels every Saturday afternoon. But I do always encourage everybody to get plugged into the YouTube channel at Don Terrell. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, get plugged in. So you receive a notification when all that good stuff goes up on the channel. I am making a mad push to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're this close, this close. So I definitely need your help to do that. I realize that a lot of people that check out the show, that consume some of the content, still haven't subscribed yet. So if that's you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Definitely share it with somebody that you feel can get value from the guests and show that we put together. We're here for creatives, especially creators of color, to help inspire and enlighten them in the industry. So definitely, if you know somebody in that space, share it with them. Definitely want to try and hit, and we can hit 1,000 subscribers again by the end of the year. I'm at 805, I think. So again, just so close, so close. At Don Terrell. So appreciate your subscription. Also, if you'd like to help support the show, again, that's why I'm making a mad push for 1,000, so we can start to monetize and get some advertising. But until then, I like a cup of coffee, and if you want to help support me to continue to make great content, buy me a coffee.com/Don Terrell. You can donate and give anything that you feel is necessary and value. It definitely goes to helping me to continue to bring great content to you. What else? Oh, big shout out to the sponsor of today's show, DG Graphics. They do all our graphics, animations, overlays, and all that good stuff, branding wise. I mean, if you're a business or a brand that's looking to level up your content, create more engaging and impactful content, then you'll definitely want to reach out to DG Graphics. And I always thank them for sponsoring the show. Oh man! All right. What else? What else? What else? Again, hop into the content comments and say, hey, definitely want to give a plug for sure. Like I said, this is episode 198. So we've got two more episodes to go before we are celebrating our big 200 episode parlay there. So I am super excited. We're going to be just having a party. We're going to be doing prizes, games, giveaways, having some past guests pop into the show. We're going to be looking back on 5 years of chaos and fun, and just some of the guests and friends that I made over those 5 years and 200 episodes. It's going to be a blast, and I definitely want you to help us celebrate, and would love to for you to be a part of the celebration. So definitely two more episodes to go. All right. Let me stop this. All right. And I think we're about ready to get this train on the tracks here. I'm super excited about today's guest. Looking forward to learning. I'm trying to up my skills in video and VFX and compositing. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and learning right along with that. Let's get this show on the road. Hey. Wow, we are back and ready to rock and roll. Like I said, I am super excited about my next guest and been looking forward to this for a while. He's a visual artist and video editor from Nigeria and has been drawing art since childhood. His love for movies pushed him deeper into exploring how stories come to life behind the scenes. That curiosity grew into a passion for visual effects in 3D, which he's since pursued as a career, blending creativity and technology to bring animation and imagination to the screen. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Badejo Olatuiyi. Badejo,
Thank you for
welcome,
having me.
welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, thank
Thanks
you,
for
thank
having me.
you for coming on the show.
Yeah,
I was telling Badejo before the episode, I am keenly aware that my African brothers or sisters are in a vastly different time zone. So I always appreciate them coming on live because it is late
mm,
over there, very late over there. So thank
yeah,
you, Badejo, for coming on and being a part of the show.
yeah, thank you. Welcome.
I always like to start. What is it that in bio you started your passion? Sparked early, but was there one particular thing that you saw, one cartoon, one animation, one video, one movie? What one thing that kind of sparked your interest in video and compositing and editing and art in general?
Okay, so one thing that sparked my interest, I would say it was mostly like, apart from like watching cartoons from like my kids, like you said, but it was mostly YouTube creators, like watching YouTube filmmakers after my secondary school. Like watching like Corridor Crew channel, like getting all those stuff. So I became so I was open to that you can do it on normal home laptops. So that was like started my major life. So like that it's like that was like the major Kickstarter towards my career.
Well, you started drawing art, at a young age. Were your parents,
Yeah.
really behind you in your creativity and, what they obviously saw you enjoy doing? Did they encourage, you know, hey, but now you need to do more of this? Or were they the typical type of parents that don't really see a future or can't see a future drawing art?
Yeah, I'll say the typical kind of I was drawing mostly on I first started drawing on walls first. So walls, papers, when I grew older, I had my sketchbook that I started drawing in. But they didn't really take art as a career because they wanted me to be in science class, like pursue science and pursue a career in science. But as I grew older, the art kind of went out because I was doing more of science as I grew older. So, but now with 3D and like science and art, so like everything is now like synchronized together into one because of like VMX. I don't know the VMX is still like art and science together
Well,
in a way.
did you find that it was hard to kind of find other, I guess, kids or people at that age when you were getting into 3D and animation, was it hard to find your crowd of people, other people that were interested in the same thing in Nigeria, or was it easy to get plugged into that community of other creators that were interested in the same thing that you were?
Right. So I think at the time when I started, it was a bit complex, but now it's more easier because now there are more communities online, and like it's more of a trend now. But when I started in 2017, like like then you hardly know anybody that is doing video or anything. You just think that it happens, but you don't know anybody that is doing those kind of stuff in Nigeria or Lagos. So you have to start like look for big offices, and this ones you can't just go anyhow to go and meet. Then you have to like be an intern there or like get in like officially. But then, but at least now they are like WhatsApp, which are their Twitter spaces. Like, I can just really meet someone, and or even LinkedIn itself to talk with them on like how the industry is like than before.
Well, I mean, do you see? I mean, did you see Nigeria as a big, as growing in the industry, as being able to, okay, I can get a lot of work through just doing video and compositing and everything, because I do hear the film industry is really big in Nigeria. um,
Yeah.
so did you feel like there was enough work and the film industry was growing enough there that, compositing and editing, you could find work and do work readily and, more?
Well, so currently now, I won't say there's enough work in Lagos in Nigeria because most of the work you get is mostly within like Lagos, Abuja, and like three states out of the 6 states. So like the work is limited to like Lagos only kind of event, except you're working like internationally.
Yeah.
But if I say like local, like within Nigeria, it's very limited to like it's limited to Lagos State.
Well,
So
to
it's
that,
like Lagos is like the hub for that kind of stuff.
yeah. Well, to that respect, then, what do you see as the thing that's going to need to be, that could be done, or is going to need to be done within Lagos, Nigeria, or in Africa as a whole to make the industry grow? It is growing there, but what do you feel like some of the changes or some of the things that are going to need to be put in place to see it get even bigger there, where there's even more studios doing film and a lot more companies within the continent are creating, content?
Yeah. So what I say about that is that so for there to be more income like in the industry, that there has to be more income in the environment totally because of even in like Nigeria, there is no enough cinemas yet. So once there are enough cinemas, there will be more money invested into movie making, and that will make more jobs available. So that means we see like basic infrastructure for all those kind of things to support the industry before that saying okay, yeah, the money is overflowing into other areas like VFX, like makeup, like all those other sectors of the filmmaking side. But
Yeah,
to far you have limited cinemas and limited like marketing and this thing, like it makes the work limited in certain states. So like only the most developed states in
yeah,
Nigeria has that kind of frequent calls of okay, we need editing at this price, we need like high quality paying clients and the rest.
yeah. Well, and do you also feel like there's also this kind of, I guess, maybe cultural mind shift as far as just people being more readily acceptive of entertainment and feeling like that's something that again can make a viable big industry. Us over here, we're familiar with the entertainment industry, so we
Yeah.
spend billions of dollars on entertainment just in studios and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But over there in Africa, it's kind of a slow thing as far as getting, I guess, the elderly group feeling like it's a that this isn't something for kids or something that's just frivolous, that's not gonna produce anything, type of thing. So do you feel like there's a mind
Yes.
shift with educating people that this is something viable?
Yeah. 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 I think that's because in like now in Nigeria, the first movie to reach a billionaire is Black Panther. So that's that's like record shows that the this is possible for that Nollywood like other local films to reach that possibility. But they are putting more quality into the work. So
Yeah,
because once the work is quality enough, you have more like more people want to watch the movies. Like they need more investment into the quality of work they are offering out. And like currently now, they tend to focus more on like romance stories. So like no much sometimes there's no much need for VFX heavy movies yet in Africa. But even though we're heading towards that direction, but currently now we still focus more on a lot of like more of like romance family story that doesn't need much or very little VFX in them. But now at least now that we are going to the epic route and to like the horror route back, there's
yeah,
more call for VFX to tell those kind of stories because all movies are heavy on VFX for them to be accomplished.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and moving into that, do you feel like that's another misconception that maybe we over here has that of the quality of the storytelling that may come from creators over there in Africa, in Nigeria, that it's the quality that we're so used to, like you said, heavy VFX films and just ultra real type of VFX that you can hardly tell the difference. Do you feel like that's a misconception that they're not going to get kind of those kind of quality of work coming out of Africa studios, or do you feel like it's just having the resources there at hand to be able to do that kind of quality work?
Yeah, so I think that's possible in Africa because, but the only issue I see that possible is that the industry because now most studios now are more of individual artists or like just like two three artists. So like the way it is like abroad like we have like you guys have ILM, you have like big teams of that makes it like what number but in here they are like mostly like two three artists who don't know the sectors well. So they are still like so even though it might look photoreal, but the animation will be bad. So like since they're like a very small team, they might bring the good like 1 or 2 seconds of the work. So
Yeah.
some part to lack. So, they're not sharing the work out fully. So in that way, like some part always like lose its quality. But that ultimately like is possible. But they also like more collaboration like more talent wise collaborate well.
Well, I want to know because as I mentioned before, the show started and we were talking that I don't consider myself a editor or a compositor, but I do like dabbling, and I have software to do it, and I love editing my own stuff and compositing my own stuff. What has for you? I know what's been the biggest challenge for me, just in editing, compositing, and learning that. What for
Mhm.
you has been kind of the biggest challenge um, so far on your journey, whether it be learning the software, connecting, just what's been the biggest challenge for you?
All right, so I would say currently now, I would say it's missing. It's more of like computer, like spec wise, because now almost everybody now they're shooting in 4K, 8K. Like my PC is not as heavy yet to handle those. Even though you're using like proxy workflows,
Yeah.
at some point you need to see what you're doing in full res. And like the new industry, now, like almost everybody is shooting in 4K, 8K, or 12K self. So those high quality pages are like very heavy on PCs that probably can't like sustain those kind of again. So yeah,
Yeah.
so like my current issue is like the heavy pages that are being shot.
Trust me, I feel you on that. And at some point, your system ultimately hits a wall in what you're doing,
Yeah.
and it forces you to. Because I feel like that, the system I'm using for my live stream is the Mac Mini. So I really only got it for that. But you start adding stuff to it, and it just really pushes the computer to the wall. So I get you when you're talking about
Yeah,
just having a heavy machine that can do the work, because obviously video editing, compositing, particularly how in depth the compositing is or how complex the effect is really
mm,
computer intensive. So I'm like you there. I'm working my way towards that beast of a machine that just clicks
yeah,
through
like
everything
this
like
stuff.
butter, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but to that, we were talking about this time that we're in as creatives, with all the technology that we have, these powerful systems that we have access to, that we can get, this software that we have. Tell me what your thoughts of being a creative in this time, especially over there in Nigeria. I mean, I know how it is over, I can say over here in America, but from a perspective of a Nigerian creative, what's your thought on this time that we live in with all this stuff that's going on?
All right, so my thought is that like currently now there are a lot of tools which makes a lot of possibilities. So it just based on like which you like using and like knowing the possibility of those tools. So like now in Nigeria now we heavily use Blender for 3D and like Blender, Unreal and After Effects, that kind of pipeline. So it just based on like picking your tool and like knowing how good your tool can be for you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Because almost every tool have their like they have their limits, but they can still do a lot of things,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Which you know brings me to the point of what you just mentioned as far as some of the software, which I use too. I mean, I got Unreal, but I haven't really dove into it just yet. But I do use Blender. All these powerful softwares that are freely available to creatives,
Yeah,
that they can use, or very inexpensive, to creators to use, makes it a great
yeah.
time, despite again the challenges the industry is going. What is, what if any impact has, well, I won't say if any because it has impacted AI. Obviously, AI is getting thrown into everything, and AI is
Yeah.
kind of the talk. As for whether you're for it or against it, it is the talk. What's your thoughts about AI, the place of AI, especially in video creation? You're starting to see apps like Sora and other apps, AI apps that are creating video content. What is your thought on that?
All right. So I would say like generally like my current workers that have spoken up to the team. Most of them AI is using like maybe the concept phase, like maybe like concept art development or so. It's, it's not really the main tool yet, but when for concept like okay, there'll be like an initial sketch. Then they'll just be like, okay, with the AI, make this sketch more like this, that kind of stuff. But AI is not a tool like everybody really uses it because it's not really tailored to that kind of stuff. So the AI is not really, like really actively used. But in terms of like most people that use AI now are more like towards like writing, but in design,
Yeah,
it's still low in design, but it's more in like writing and but not in design because design is
yeah.
like still very like very tailored.
It is a broad, AI obviously is a broad topic that's touched a lot of industries, not just art, but it's touched writing, it's touched so many different industries, for sure. And every
Yeah.
industry has its own unique challenges with it. What And we're going to take a look at some of Badejo's artwork in a minute here. But what do you feel like are some of the qualities that a compositor, a video editor, um, should kind of keep in mind for somebody that's looking to do, um, you know, what you're doing? What do you see as some of the qualities that you look towards that? and look at when you're looking at other people's work and um, the stuff that they're creating?
Right. So I would say it's more of like studying light. So you have to like observe light in real world, like how light works in the real world. So that helps us compositing because like studying the exposure, studying like shutter speed, like all of like how the camera works, it helps us compositing. Then for like 3D too, it helps like studying like motion, like talking of animation, like those things helps with knowing how to composite better
For
in
sure, for
summary.
sure. And like I said,
Yeah.
we're getting ready to take a look at some of Badejo's work. Again, everybody that's tuning in, we're having a fun conversation talking video editing, compositing, VFX, all that fun stuff. Uh, for sure. Mr. Dwan, appreciate you as always tuning in. Greetings, Don and Badejo. Appreciate you tuning in for sure, Dwan, as always. And before we, proceed on in the conversation, let's take a look at, some of the work. You sent me over, and I got some of your, video work. But I do um, love some of the 3D work that you're doing. And I want you
Yeah,
to
thank
kind of
God.
talk about, your process and how you sit down and approach just a project when you're getting into a project. What's your process for from kind of start to finish when you initially get it and start to work on it? Kind of walk us through your beginning, middle, and end process of putting stuff together.
All right, so I would start with the first one you showed. So it's more of like knowing okay what the brief is. So from the brief, you like get an idea of what you want to do. So after the knowing like breaking down the brief, you like look at start looking for like concept art for that, like what visuals, like what references are currently available for that project. Then you like look at okay, what's the end goal of the project? So like who is it going towards? And like using that to since you like you now evaluate what direction you are going to like that to like how things start going into the so like how would like what mood will this thing be like the mood of like will it be bright, will it be dark, like will it be like entertaining, will it be fun, will it be so like those like knowing the who the end users are will help you direct your design language towards that kind of direction.
Well, when you're doing, because obviously, I'm showing like right here,
Yeah.
automobile. You've done some product, 3D product design. Is it hard to show a company the value of what 3D can do, or do they understand? Like when you're doing projects, do they pretty much understand, the value of 3D, what it can do for their marketing and branding, as opposed to photography or some other medium of doing that? Obviously, there are some industries that lend to 3D, and it's cheaper to do
Yeah.
3D as opposed to setting up a photography shoot of, say, like products, type of thing. It's easier for. Are you finding that it's, companies get that? Companies are finding that, you know it's great to use animation, 3D, and really good VFX to market and um, get their product or service out there.
Yeah, I think companies understand the use of the 3D, but like I said, there's like limited budgets, so they can't always use like it's only for like major campaigns that they go all out on the spending, but it's not like a constant. It's not like a constant like oh like now in Lagos now where I stay where I stay, there is not like job role for like a 3D person.
Yeah,
Like you have to like, you have to design constantly. It's either you're like an archi firm or like an interior firm, but like constant 3D design is not like a job role. You have to work with like specialized like architectural firms like here. Then that this one they use 3D constantly, or maybe like interior designers they use 3D constantly to visualize to
Yeah.
their clients. But like in like design wise for like maybe like way agencies work, they don't have like a 3D person. Yeah, you have to like 3D and something else to stay because so that at least once they are done on 3D, they are
Yeah.
doing something else. That kind of stuff.
Well, is it growing the companies that are utilizing video in 3D within the industry, or do you find you're still doing a good portion of work for companies outside of Africa, or are you
Yeah, so
doing mostly internal companies within Africa that you're doing 3D and video work for, or again, do you find you're doing just as much work, if not more, of studios and companies outside of the country?
so currently now I still do a lot of like work, mostly like internal in Nigeria, but I don't do like much work yet outside Nigeria.
Oh, okay, okay. Again, just tuning in. We just got done looking at some of Badejo's amazing work. Um, Let me jump over here. Back at it. Uh, what do you feel? What do you feel are some of the biggest advantages of creators from Africa and Nigeria bring to your work and to the
I didn't
field?
get that. Sorry.
What do you feel are some of the advantages and I guess, or just advantages that uh you know African creators and Nigerian creators bring?
All right, so I would say is the I would say like every culture has their kind of arts. Like if you look at their like now currently in animation now, I can tell the difference between an European animation and like a Japanese animation. Like every art, so like every nation has their own like, or every like tribe has their own art style.
Yeah,
So there's an always going to be like an African art style that we are bringing to the design world. That yes, this is like African, like these are our own stories. So like that was like also the African brings. So that like our own kind of like the African look. That was also that will bring.
got you, got you. Well, also for you, you've been kind of on this journey so far for a little bit. What's been the best piece of advice that somebody's given you that's helped you?
All right. So my best. So it's from Blender Guru, and it goes learn the skill, not the software, because like what he's saying is that if you are compositing like with like VFX now, like you know that you know how to add fire to a shot, not how Premiere Pro adds fire to a shot. So that once you know how fire to add, so once you know how to add fire to a shot, that logic will apply throughout Premiere Pro, After Effects, and any other software you're using. So that it can always be like, yes, I'm a 3D artist, not I'm a Blender 3D artist. Like be a 3D artist, not like a software 3D artist. But yes, software have like specialized tools, but you, you have to like be sure of like logic of what you are doing so that you can always be like so that I get it helps with conclusion of to other talent so that I can talk to an unreal guy and tell him that yes, this is how I want my work to be and he will know that yes, this is what I want. That kind of stuff. So it's more of like learn the skill, not the software.
Learn the skill, not the software. That's always a great piece of advice. You know, when my guests drop bombs, I drop bombs as well. Learn the skill, not the software, because the skill is transferable. What software are you using for editing? Are you using Premiere or Adobe for your editing, or well, you know?
Yeah, so I use the DaVinci Resolve for editing.
Okay. I was just ready to say,
I use
mostly
Resolve
for
for
you, I love DaVinci Resolve. That's what I use for
I use
editing.
Resolve for editing.
And that's what I mean when there's so many great tools. You don't. I mean, there is a obviously a studio. I have the studio version, but they have a free version that you can use that
Yeah,
pretty much does 90% of what most editors need to do. And that's what I love about like you said, this time that we are in. There's so many great softwares out there that companies, small software companies, are really making available to create. They're thinking about the creator. They really are thinking
yeah,
about the creator and making their software available and making, you know, not getting tied up in subscriptions, which, I think a lot of creators hate
yeah.
now. Subscriptions. Um, for you, what are kind of the stories that you enjoy telling and are wanting to tell as far as, you know, your effects and compositing? Some people like, the traditional drama. Obviously, some like the real
Mm,
hardcore visual effects. Some like those subtle
yeah.
editing and compositing type of things. What are some of the types of projects you would like to sink your teeth into?
All right, so I think now I'm looking for more projects that are like more like deeper into African culture because now most stories now we tell now are like towards family culture or family lifestyle. But I want something more deeper like our mythological stories, like our God and our Orishas, those kind of stories. Like those kind of stories that I want to tell more. Then I also love like storytelling style of like Christopher Nolan, like the sci-fi that kind of stuff. Because we don't do much sci-fi yet, so I'm hoping that we do more sci-fi. Because those kind of stories are like they need like VFX to tell kind of stories.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
those like more of myths and like more of sci-fi fantasy.
yeah. Well, I mean, what are some movies, current movies that you've seen that you're like, wow, that was a pretty cool effect and how they did it, or what are some of the things that you've seen recently that you really, you lean back and you like, wow, that's really cool. You scratch your head trying to figure out how they did it.
All right, so I would say Ninja is a Chinese animation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like it was really mind blowing because I didn't really go into it. Like I just went into it like just for watching sake. But it was like really, really, really like my mind was blown away. Like this is like cause it was like a simple story, it's like a massive thought act that everything was like massive smoke simulations. Everything was like
Oh
the,
man.
but the battle was very epic, mind blowing. Then I will also say Carry On from Netflix. So Carry On like had so much VFX inside it that I was surprised that there was a lot of VFX inside. Like those are stories that when you watch like the breakdowns, are like those are like a lot. I didn't notice them. Yeah, it all blew my mind. So yeah, Carry On was like one of them.
Well, into that, do you feel like do you feel like people expect movies to be VFX heavy now? I mean, with the advent of Marvel, all these Marvel movies and, like you said, sci-fi movies that have to be, by the nature of them, VFX kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people are kind of jaded by VFX and just are expecting big VFX effects and kind of overlook the simple, kind of nuanced effects that go overlooked through a film?
Yeah, I would think it's more of the stories. Because once the story is good, you won't have other things to focus on. Because it's once the story is lacking that your mind begins to go to other things. So once the story is good, it makes every other thing good. Because now one story is good, every other person knows what they are doing. And like it aligns the rules of yeah, so this is what we are doing and that's what we are doing. And yes, that's all. But once the story is bad, then every other thing begins to get affected. So in the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, which always brings you back to that point of it always starts with story. Story. You can have a
Yeah,
good
that's a good
or
story.
bad story. VFX isn't gonna cover that up for sure. Everybody just jumping in. Mr. Dwan. Ah, woohoo. a fellow DaVinci Resolve user, yeah, I use DaVinci Resolve is a great tool. I agree that it is an
Yeah,
excellent alternative to Premiere Pro. I really think it's better than Premiere Pro. Because one, Premiere Pro is just an editor. That's all it is. So if you want to do After
yeah,
Effects or visual effects, you're going to have to go into After Effects or some type of
yeah,
program like that. One of the big selling points for DaVinci is it's all in one. You don't have to jump out of the
yeah.
software
The
at all.
all-in-one process.
Yeah, if you don't want to. Now, again, I'm I guess I started, dabbling in After Effects, with visual effects and After Effects. And, I'm a Photoshop user. So I'm used to that layer based type of system. So node base is
Yeah,
a little getting used to. I will say that in DaVinci Resolve,
yeah,
getting used to the node system is a little, challenging. But it's a great piece of software, like I said, and it's
yeah.
free.
Really, really, really good.
And it's free, for sure. You miss out on kind of the higher end features like Magic Mask and some of the other AI tools. But again, for the
Yeah,
average editor, DaVinci Resolve is the free version is more than enough for the average
yeah. It
editor.
does almost everything.
So, and I love companies that do that. They think about the creative, and they make their tools available for the creative, either free or at a low price, knowing that if the creator loves it, he's gonna buy the pro version. He's gonna step up to the
Yeah,
pro version. I mean, I don't know. Companies think differently now. So yes, Dewan, we are DaVinci Resolve users for sure. Uh, everybody. Like I said, we are. I'm trying to. I always tell my African brothers and sisters that are mindful time wise. So I try and keep the episode compact. We are coming up on an hour, 45 minutes. The fusion part of DaVinci Resolve is pretty helpful too. But
yeah.
Angel, do you have any pro tips on how to get better at using its motion graphics feature? Um, are you a heavy uh,
Fusion.
Fusion? Yeah, Fusion user. I'm getting used
Yeah,
to it
yeah, yeah,
myself
yeah.
too.
I use Fusion. I use Fusion. So there are many tips for Fusion. I would say is that what I also say is that just to use Fusion like to use it effectively, just open the what is it? Open the keyframe tab. So once you open the keyframe tab, like the keyframe panel is open, it gives that After Effects feel of seeing like the
Yeah,
layer
yeah,
kind of like that's my pro tip for Fusion to make it easier to sort understand what's happening.
yeah.
Hope that's fine.
Dewan, again, I would suggest because Fusion is that's probably the most sticking point of the software that most people say they have a hard time with, or really, you know, kind of
Yeah,
avoid is the Fusion phase. It's really hard, but it's such a deep software, and you can get lost in the weeds, obviously, with all the stuff that it can do. But there are some
yeah,
great tutorials out there, Dewan, and some great creatives out there that I follow,
yeah,
that do DaVinci Resolve tutorials, and I know,
yeah,
shoot, um, and his name slips my mind. He does a lot of fusion stuff, training as well. There's a great guy, Jason Bolotsky. He does the audio. He does a lot of training on the audio portion of it, so you learn a lot. That's the
yeah,
good thing about DaVinci. There's a lot of great creators out there that are one making great tutorials, and then two making great plugins for the great plugins for the
yeah,
software. Uh, for sure. You should definitely uh, check out. Man, when you're ready to pull names, that's when the names slip from you of who you follow. But there are a lot of, and
yeah,
I'll put them in the show notes for sure. Some definitely a couple of great creators that you can follow that do DaVinci Resolve. tutorials that I love watching as well. No worries, Mr. Dewan. We are here to bring value. Um, Outside of the tools that you're using, like Blender, um, like DaVinci, what what would be your kind of words of wisdom for somebody that's looking to get into the industry right now, and get specifically um, editing, compositing. Is it a great time to do it? Is there space and opportunity to earn and make a living doing editing with AI coming out and all of that? What would you say to that young person that's wondering whether this is something that would be a good avenue to go down?
All right, so it's a great time. Let me see. I don't know how because I would say like the world is always evolving. So even though there is AI, even though the AI is not like good enough now, at one point the AI will be like might be the main workflow. So at that point, the VFX industry will change. But currently now, we need more hands-on VFX to do the work. So yes, currently now there's this space, but in near future, the work will change a lot. So for now, we need more hands on deck.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely, as always, great words of wisdom. Where's my Where's my
Yeah.
explosion? Explosion bombs on these bombs. Definitely. Um, we are coming up on an hour here, and again, I'm always mindful, and really cognizant of it's very late over there in Nigeria, but always thankful that my Nigerian brothers and sisters that come on the show live. Always thankful because it is late over there. So as we kind of wind down this train and bring it back into the station, do you see this, you know, well, let me change it to this. What are your hopes for the industry as it pertains to Nigeria? What are you kind of hoping you're seeing when it comes to just this industry in Nigeria, in Lagos
Uh,
specifically?
all right. So my hopes are like more cinemas. Like I said, for like once there are more cinemas, there will be like more money to go around. So more cinemas, more collaborative teamwork. Because now, since like what makes the work will be collaboration. So there's not enough collaborations yet to make like quality work. Because most people are like just like small teams, one, two, three. But one can get like 20-man teams, 40-man teams. They'll get like the work will have like more quality and like will sell more. So like bigger teams, more cinemas. Like
Yeah,
that's my wish for Nigerian industry.
yeah, yeah. No, all great wishes for sure. Um, Bellagio, I cannot thank you enough for giving me a little bit of your time.
Yeah.
Again, I
Yeah. Okay.
realize that it is really late over there, and like I said, you're the part of the Color of Motion family now. So I definitely want you to show up for 200 episode. But I can't thank you enough for coming on and really bringing, as you can tell from this yardie that's late over there.
Yeah. Okay.
He's tired. So definitely bringing the trade in on a good note. But if you could hang out for just 1 second while I close out the show, so I can talk to you after the show is over, I'd appreciate it. But again, thank you, Benaja, for being on and
All right.
being
Now
a
you're
part
welcome.
of the show, and bringing great value and great fun conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Okay.
please help me thank again our guest and friend, Mr. Benajo. Hang on, Benajo, while I close this out. Everybody, this has been a fun one. Albeit a shorter one because it's probably 11 o'clock now. There, usually it's Lagos. It's like 10:30. We go live, so it's usually like 11 o'clock. So it's late there. So I can't thank again Badejo for enough for coming on live and giving us a little bit of his time. Cannot thank you enough for being a part as always and joining me each and every Saturday afternoon. We are in full countdown mode again. Like I said, two, two, two more. Well, really one more episode left. Next week's episode is episode 199. I am super excited about next week's episode as well. Been looking to get him on for a while. Mr. Keith White, president, founder, and CEO of Afro Animation Summit. Amazing Afro Animation Summit that he puts on every year. And I think they started about the same time I started this show. So I think they're 5 years, 6 years in. I know they started during the pandemic. And the first 2 years I attended, it was online. Again, it was during the pandemic. It was a great function. Now they've since pandemic is over, now they're doing it in person and it's grown immensely. So I am extremely excited about guest and friend Mr. Keith White coming on next week again. Founder and CEO of Afro Animation Summit. Yes. Mr. Dewan, thanks for coming, Badejo. He appreciates that for sure. Woo woo. We are almost at 200. Yep, 200. And you stuck with me the whole time. I appreciate that, Dewan, and so many others. You've been with me the whole time. I cannot thank you enough. And that's why it's going to be a party. All for you. All right. Well, we close this out. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. I cannot thank you enough. And have a great rest of the weekend, great rest of the day, great week. And I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Cheers, everybody.